What's going on, guys? SOB Productions here, and welcome back to the channel. Now, I told you guys that I was going to do 8 things I hate about this truck. I'm going to try to do it today. So, without further ado, let's just get on with the video. So, the first thing, I think majority of people with second-gen trucks or people with the 5.9 Magnums, thanks. But I think everybody can agree the one thing that you hate about this truck is the fuel mileage. All right, take a look at mine. 8.9 miles to the gallon. That's my eco. Mine's fluctuate a little bit because number one, well, I got a heavy foot, so, you know, I get on my truck. So if I was like somebody that, you know, baby the gas pedal, which is no fun, I could say you can probably get about 10 miles to the gallon, but you're pushing it. You're pushing it there. Now, take this into account. Let me turn this off. Now, take this into account. My truck has 4:10 gear ratios, okay? These are 4:10 gear ratios this truck had. I do have a cold air intake, and I do have a throttle body spacer. So take those into account there. Now, I don't know what other trucks get as far as their miles per gallon without the 410s. But with the 410s, I get about 8 miles to the gallon. Now, here's the thing. Before I did a cold air intake and a throttle body spacer, I would say I was probably getting about, I don't know, 7. I was getting about 7 miles to the gallon. So basically, this truck was burning gas like a diesel, like a big semi truck. So that's one thing I hate about this truck. So we're gonna do the interior, and then I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna show you guys some stuff. So that's one. All right, number 2. I hate the dash. Now, I did buy an aftermarket piece just to make the truck look a little bit better, but I still have a lot of work, as you can see. Basically, hold on, focus. There we go. So, I still got a lot of work to do. You know, if I plan on keeping this truck, I might fix it. I probably will fix it if I keep it, but I don't know. Just, right now, I honestly just don't care about it, and I just learned to deal with it. Now, I did put an aftermarket radio in my truck. It is a complete touchscreen radio. Let me show you guys real quick. Now, you could do this a little bit nicer. Actually, I might have a picture to show you guys. Here we go. If you wanted to do this kit, you can do this a little bit nicer. They sell a trim that basically goes around. Now, here's the thing. Now, take this into note. If you want to do this, you will have to cut. They want you to cut. And honestly, I didn't feel like cutting, so I just stuck the radio in there, and it's not going anywhere because this is locked. You know, this little piece here, it's locked in there, so that ain't going anywhere. You know, so, and like I say, this is a complete touchscreen radio. You know, you got all the stuff that you want. You know, you can change out your bass. You know, there's a backup camera option. I gotta hook it up still, but it comes with Bluetooth, USB, SD. You got aux. You can link your phone. This radio is pretty nice. I got this off of Amazon. Nice little radio, but if you want to do this kit, this is the little kit that comes. Well, you gotta buy the kit separate, but there's a kit for second-gen Ram. As you can see right there, it says for Ram 1500, 98 to 2001, and Ram 2500, 3500, 98 to 2002. This is the kit to put an aftermarket touchscreen radio in if you want to do that. I try to replace it with aftermarket. This is a whole new top piece. It's basically a cover, but let me see if I get closer and show you guys. But this is a complete top piece cover to cover the dash, but there's your inside. Now, the reason my dash fell apart on me Let me slide over here. The reason my dash is the way it is because I had to replace the heater. I had to put in a new heater core, and I was trying to take the dash out, and it was not working. And the thing about second gen Rams is this is an aftermarket, so it's a little bit better, but you can like legit go like that and it will chip right off. So you go like that, boop. So you can imagine trying to take a dash apart in this truck. You got plastic pieces flying all over the damn place. So turns out what I did, I just cut a little slit in between the heater core so I can slide it in there, and then I just glue the plastic pieces back together. And it's been holding pretty good. It's nice and solid. But it was just a cheap, quick fix to get some heat. All right, the third thing that kind of sums up what I just said about the second one was the dash. And when I did that, when I had to take it apart. So the third thing that I kind of hate about the second gen Ram is the heat pressure and the heat flow. It really, now some trucks are different. Like for an example, my dad, he had a 97 Ram plow truck, and that truck used to burn you up in the wintertime when we was out plowing snow. Whew, it got hot in there. You had to roll the windows all the way down and stick your head out. But that truck got hot. Now, other trucks are different. And like for an example, we had this is a Chrysler thing, I guess. But it was we had a 99 Dodge Durango that basically did the same thing. Put a heater core in it. Basically, not that much pressure. But some trucks, it's a hit or miss. You get either good heat flow, and some has terrible heat flow. But it depends. Now, this truck, it gets hot, but the truck has to be like legit running for like 3 hours or 2 hours before you actually start to feel it. But after 2-3 hours, you know, you will feel it eventually, but it takes a while for this truck to get heat up it takes a while for this truck to heat up the cabin in the truck. Now, it could be because of rust and it's not really airtight anymore, but that's the third reason I hate that's the third reason I hate the second gen Ram. All right, the fourth thing I want to talk about is the extended cab Ram side doors. So as you can see, yeah, this door is solid shut. It moves, but the latch on it's let me show you guys on the other side what I'm talking about. All right, so this is the passenger side. All right, this side door works, and I'm gonna show you why this door works. All right, the reason this door works is because there is a little latch that goes right there. You see these two holes? That latch bolts on the bottom of this door, and it locks on this bottom one. This is what it locks to. Now, here's the thing. When you live up north and it get rusty, that latch, that's what it locks to, and that's where it freezes, is that bottom latch. So, if you own a second gen Ram and your back door is shut and it doesn't open like this, this is your culprit right there, is that bottom latch on the door. Now, how to get these open is you either got to pry them up, or you got to either pry them or you have to break the lock out of the door. So you have to get like a good grip on there and try to break that lock so you can get it open. Now, this one still has that top one. The top ones are good and there's no problem with it. And this is what locks this door, is actually that top lock. But you know, you get a little bit, but you actually, if you wanted to make these trucks new, they actually sell the bottom lock on them. So if you can get this door, or if you can get that bottom lock basically to get it loose and get a new one to bolt back in there, you can replace that lock pretty cheap. I think the latch is about $30-$40. So I think it's about $60. But that latch is, you can get a replacement for it. If you can get that latch out, without damaging the bottom of the door or or the mounting. Up north, these doors are a problem. I'm gonna show you. Y'all raw, but these doors are a problem when you live up north in the salt in the winter time. So up in north, these back doors. So that is the fourth thing I hate about the second gen Ram. Fifth thing I hate about the second gen Ram has to be the bottom. So the bottom half of the trucks, or the rocker panels, that is terrible. It was a bad design by Dodge or Chrysler when they made it, because it's soft metal, and again, when you put a truck like this up north, it rusts out pretty bad. Basically anywhere that salt kicks up, it rusted out. A lot of people, what they do is they will rubber coat the bottom half of the door. So I would say about right here all the way down, they rubber coat it so it doesn't rust. But yeah, when you're up north, it's difficult to get something like this that isn't rusty. But I got a new tire. I know people were looking at that bald tire, but I finally got me a good tire. All right, so the sixth thing I hate about this truck has to be, without a doubt, is the steering. To get these wheels lined up, it is a challenge, okay? Now, I try to do this stuff myself, and if you look up on it here, I have a steering stabilizer bar. This whole front end is brand new. I even got a gearbox support bracket that's bounced to the gearbox, as you can see right there, and all the way around. And in the process, I wound up breaking one of those bushings for that. So I hate the steering. The steering is one thing I wish it was a little bit better on these trucks, but I worked on it, worked on it. I got it about right. It goes down the road pretty straight, but from time to time, you can definitely tell that it kind of either pulls this way sometimes, or it's a whole thing. But that's the sixth thing I hate about this truck. The seventh thing I hate about this truck is this door. If you look right here, there's the door has this little roller that this thing mounts on. Now, this thing, it mounts to this, and it's a spring that mounts right here. And when you open the door, that spring, it pushes it. But this bearing wears out. And when that bearing wears out, this is how it looks. And so you no longer have resistance on the door anymore, and the door kind of flops open if it's open, and when you're trying to get in the door and it's windy and the door hits you. That's why. All right, the eighth thing I hate about this truck is, you can't really see it over here. I'm gonna show you over here. The eighth thing I hate about this truck is the manifold gasket. So from where the manifold is bolt together, they're not the best design, and what happens is the bolts get loose and they drop, but you cannot retighten those bolts because the bolts are so rusty. There's no way to be able to retighten them, and the only way you can do it is you have to cut them out and put in new bolts. It's kind of difficult to get to due to the angle of it, and it's just super hard to get the bolts out. You cannot saw them out because it's hard to get us in there to cut them out. A lot of people, even when they buy new ones, they still tend to leak. So it's a terrible design, and a lot of things. Now, I do have headers for this truck that I am planning to put on here to fix all of this. And I had someone ask me, why did I do a cold air intake and a throttle body spacer? The reason I did a cold air intake and a throttle body spacer was to increase the fuel mileage, which it did in fact increase the fuel mileage by, I say, maybe 1 to 2 miles to the gallon. It did increase it. Now, the throttle body spacer, it helps with the throttle response. And when you combine the two, the throttle body spacer and the cold air intake, it improves the throttle response on this old motor. So it gives you a little bit of better pickup and a little bit more get up and go. And especially with me, I got 410 gear ratios, which helps this truck phenomenal, but it's terrible in gas mileage. So even though the 410s help it overall, it does give you, it comes at a cost. The gas mileage. That comes to the other part of the reason I kind of don't want to get bigger tires for this truck is because as it is and as it sits, it's a fast truck. And it's pretty quick despite of its age. We're talking about a truck that has over 213,000 miles on it and can do a 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds or 6 seconds. You know, some days it actually has its better days. Despite, you know, if you get a good temperature, you know, this truck, some days it's slouchy, and you can definitely tell it that it's slouchy and it doesn't want to go, and that it's like, I don't, you know what I mean? But other days it's quick and it's pretty, and that's why I don't really want to run bigger tires, because if I ran bigger tires, it will be slower for the wind noise. But I couldn't imagine somebody with this truck without the 410s running big tires. It will be slow, and I'm pretty sure it will be slow if you did put bigger tires on here without increasing the gear ratios. 285 70 17. Okay. Now, I think these trucks came with 245s. These are pretty, they upgraded this quite a bit. If I put 35s on here and I lift it up, let's say 5 to 7 inches, I mean, yeah, sure, it will look incredible. Don't get me wrong. Like, it will look super incredible. But I got a feeling that it will slow it down. And when you're trying to use a truck like this, and you're trying to tow stuff, and you're trying to haul cars, yeah, I don't think you're going to get that far with a gas motor. I would love to get back into making videos and stuff. If you guys enjoy it, I will do more. I'm going to include it. This is number 9. Sometimes in order to get that gear to go into the next gear, you got to let off the gas a little bit, and then it will go in. Because I don't know why the computer's like, you know, we're just going to hang out right here. You know what I mean? Even when I got this Trans rebuilt, it was still doing that. So it's just part of the, I think this is what, the 46RE. It's either the 40, I don't know which one the Cummins had. I think it's either the 46RE. I don't think it's the 47. I think it's the 46. But I think it's the 46RE. It loves to just hang out before shifting the gear, or you can let off the gas and then it will shift. But anyway, I just wanted to put that into the video. That's the 9th thing I hate about this truck. But overall, that's all the stuff I hate about this truck. Overall, it's been a great truck. Honestly, this is a fun fact. This is actually the first truck I've ever bought. I bought this truck when I turned, I think when I turned 17 or 18, I bought this truck. It was the first car I've ever bought. And 5 years later, I still own this truck, and it's been great. I daily drive it, and it's great. It's terrible on fuel mileage, but it's a great truck. It's very reliable for me, and I'm going to say for me because I know there are some trucks, you know, there's lemons out there, and I know that just because my truck is a good truck doesn't mean all of them is going to be good trucks. You know, it's same vice versa. And I know, you know, people are going to hate Dodge regardless of it, but, you know, just because you have bad experience with one, you know, you shouldn't shoot down the brand, you know, because there is some that is built really better than others. And this one here has been a fucking shining. The 213,000 miles, you know, I beat the living dog crap out of it, and I absolutely love it. This truck loves to be driven. It loves to just go. You know, I take it everywhere, and it loves it. And that's why it's been super reliable. Now, I don't let my stuff sit, okay? That's the thing. I don't let my stuff sit. Like, for an example, like, I'm going to tell you right now, I let this truck sit for about 4 months. And it was the toughest thing to get this truck back running again. It did not like to sit. Like, it was when I tried to start it back up, it was dying. I could barely get this thing running. You know, I started it up, and if my foot wasn't on the gas, it will die out. It's like, it did not like to sit. The max that I will let this truck sit now is about maybe a month. But anything other than that, you can forget it. It's going to be hard to get this truck back running again. So I drive it, and I drive it every day, and I drive it hard, and no problems. Anyway, people, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.